3 or 4 trees dropped in a line all across the track.
There was no way we were going to get across.
We literally built some ramps.
30 kilometres an hour without slowing down. I wasn't quite ready for what was coming up.
G'day everyone, I'm Simon Christie and welcome to Life Off-Road. This week we're hitting the tracks with a few mates. I've got Rob and River in the big 300, Pete in the trusty D-Max, Mick in the good old Hilux, and I'm riding shotgun with Greg in the GQ. So let's hit the tracks and have some fun. We've just come through the Black Spur, one of Australia's most iconic drives. We've turned off at the Dom Dom Saddle and we're heading for Strickland Spur. It's going to be a fantastic day of off-roading, but days like today can't happen without a stack of planning. And a big breakfast. So when we're on this side of town, we head to the Healesville Beechworth Bakery.
Greg here from Ride Pro, back out again today, joining the next season with Life Off-Road.
Hi, I'm Peter from Road Safe. We're here today just outside of Marysville.
It's been great to get out of the office for the day, get away from the desk.
Today's our first time out with the Full Drive TV crew for Life Off-Road, and we started the day at the Beechworth Bakery.
We're the perfect place to stop here in Healesville. We're the gateway to the high country. We have a huge car park that can cater for all vehicle types. We're open 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Beautiful cakes and food. The restaurants and bakeries did it tough during COVID. They've had the floods, there's one after the other problems, and it's good to support the locals there.
So if you're heading out this way to Healesville, be sure to call in and say hello. Come and grab one of our famous Ned Kelly pies and a bee sting.
We left the bakery, cruised over to the Black Spur. Black Spur, sensational drive. Got them in your bucket list. If you've never done it, get down here, have a drive. Beautiful picture in the road, through the mountains, green, massive trees. Sensational.
If you've been watching your 4x4, you'd know that Simon's had a bit of trouble with the Iveco and it's down for a bit. As a result of that, he was jumping in with Greg from Ride Pro for the day.
Mick from Piranha, we've done a bit of work with you over the years, but this is the first time you've actually been on Life Off-Road yourself.
Yeah, thanks Simon. Good to get out of the office for the day and have a bit of fun, get away from my desk.
Vehicle's looking great, but you mentioned you might be looking to hit a few trees today.
Simon, don't tell the bosses that, but I wouldn't mind changing it up to an aluminium tray and a canopy set up on the back.
Pretty popular combo these days.
Fantastic if you want to camp out of the back of it and set it up properly.
That's something you guys have been doing more and more of, isn't it?
We are. We're doing aluminium and steel trays, canopy setups, and developing more products all the time.
And Mick, how long since you've been through the Black Spur?
Probably about 6 months since I've been up through this way. Definitely haven't been up since we had all the rain the other week. See, hopefully we don't have too many trees down.
And I'm riding shotgun with Greg from Ride Pro. Great to have you along, mate.
Thanks, buddy.
Have you actually pre-run these tracks for us?
Yeah, mate, I've come for a run with my son the other day. It was actually just after a pretty big storm, and yet here we are in a 29-degree day.
Is it 29?
It's going to be today, yeah, I believe so.
Wow.
Yeah. And you're sitting in a truck with no aircon, mate.
We got windows.
We got windows, mate, exactly.
Pulled in the Dom Dom Saddle, dropped the tyres down, ready to hit those tracks.
That's where things started to get interesting.
Nice and easy through this first section, guys. A little bit of a descent, looking beautiful.
We really don't know how lucky we are to have this sort of awesome scenery right on our doorstep.
How good is this? Hey, what do you reckon, Cleo? Is it good? You're doing a good job, girl.
Hey Mick, we seem to be dropping quite quickly here.
It does drop down suddenly from that car park. Nice descent, a little bit slippery on the track still.
Now, 1 bark for left, 2 barks for right.
We seem to be dropping quite quickly here. It looks like we've got a little bit of an issue here on the track that might take a little bit of work to get out of the way. Just give us a bit of space, we're going to move the vehicle back.
And massive log across the track.
You want to get the rear winch a spin?
Mate, we can give it a go. The best part then, I can actually use the front winch to help secure the vehicle. And being a low mount winch, a bit more control.
I'd say chainsaw. And someone had forgotten the chainsaw, so we had to think outside the square how we were going to sort that out.
So, winch time. Now, I've got a couple of winches on my truck. I've got a front and rear winch.
The front winch is a competition winch, which is at high speed, and
Not really perfect for moving trees where you want nice slow control pulls.
but on the back he's got the real power winch.
Quick spin of the ute, hook the back winch on. Got a driver in there, put your foot on the brake for me. We got it there, hook the tree trunk around the tree, and skull dragged it with the winch out of the way.
It's rotten, so as we're trying to pull it along, it's splitting in bits and pieces, so we've got to have 2 or 3 shots at it to grab the whole thing to get it off the track. What was clever was that the last part of it was rotten and just basically drove over. By the time we finished driving over it, it had crushed down and left the path clear for anybody else to come through after us.
As we went over it, you really noticed the weights of the cars. My car pretty much flat in the tree as we went over. Got to give the rock sliders a workout.
No doubt next time I'm up this way, I'll have a chainsaw and I'll clear the rest off and make sure that track's nice and clear for everybody else. Turned on the Fisher Creek Road, we transited on. Now, our main aim today was Strickland Spur, but I also knew getting to Strickland Spur can be really good fun.
Here's some exciting stuff, Cleo. We cancelled this trip a couple of weeks back because it was just too wet and too dangerous. So coming along this time, I just figured that it would still be quite muddy, but it had dried out quite well. It was quite pleasant.
29 degrees, and we've got water flowing down the ruts of the track. This has got to be Victoria.
It surprised us all. It made us all a bit nervous for what we're in for.
Yeah, we got them cars muddy and dirty, but it wasn't really challenging. As long as you're a bit smart, didn't want to hit them too hard in the red clay.
That's what it's all about. Get out here and test out the gear, test out the bar work, test out the nerves.
Rob, the bar work on your 300 series looks sensational. It changes the appearance immensely. You've got a good bar for the Y62 as well, haven't you?
The Y62, we've always used your recovery points. They actually come as a standard thing when you purchase any of our patrol bars. They always fit fantastic, and the whole reason I went the road safe ones was I liked that they had more mounting points than any other one on the market.
At RoadSafe, we develop and manufacture recovery points. We're very proud of how they bolt and how they fit and what they achieve. All of our new developed tow points will have soft shackle attributes as a radiused internal edge and a radiused external edge so that it doesn't get any sharper point contact for the soft shackle. You were saying before you do a lot of speedway stuff and not much four-wheel driving?
We've been heavily for years into junior speedway. I have lots of kids and they all race cars. We go all over the country, absolutely love it.
Now you said you had lots of kids, how many?
Too many. We have 8 and that's what our logo is, it's all the kids' initials.
That's amazing, that's fantastic.
But it wasn't too far before we came across a fairly decent bog hole. And this one, a little bit harder than the rest. Tree roots, uphill exit, and quite a few big holes dug from previous vehicles.
We stopped and had a look at it.
I reckon you just go into there and you can all over.
Even driving around here is going to be a little bit of...
Yeah, well, you go up there, wouldn't you?
I'm a silly bloke. I went first, so I just went straight through the centre of it, to be honest with you. There was a line to the side. Nah, I didn't really feel any way I was going to go I was going to work. They had a fair crack.
Foot flat to the floor and launched the front 2 wheels high into the air.
I didn't like to get that far, that was so close.
It didn't work for me. Back to the winch. We wore gloves, save our hands, tree trunk protector around the tree, so we don't kill the tree. We put a dampener over the winch hook. If a winch rope breaks, the rope might hurt you, but if a hook comes free, it may kill you.
Being my first trip, I wasn't quite ready for what was coming up.
I reckon we'll have a go, and we can winch it or you can just back out.
Rob in the brand spanking new 300 series Land Cruiser. They had a bit of a plan to try and go on the side, a bit off camber, but the idea of that was to try and bypass the tree root, which held me up pretty bad.
I probably made the wrong choice there.
Go back.
It was so chewed up and so wet that Rob dropped back in and there was no way he was going to get through and just backed out.
Find a little side track where you get him onto to get him around the main bog hole. Bit narrow, but he got it around there, not a mark on that nice car. Proves all that bar work does its job, protects that car beautifully.
Boy, I regret it now because I was the only one that didn't have a go driving through it at pace.
And I got there and thought, well, I'm not here for a haircut, so... We attacked it, knowing that I wasn't going to get through, but still.
He just hit it flat out, which pleased Simon greatly. It was very exciting to watch.
Run it out. All right, in slowly.
Keep the wheels just turning so you don't chew up the track too much, and winch and drive.
Winch out.
I was the last in the convoy. I ended up tailing Charlie for the day. By the time I got to that hole, the mud had all stirred up in the bottom and it was impassable. Bit of a clunk and a bang, and we'll just winch out of this hole.
We are winching!
You wouldn't want to be coming into these tracks with highway terrain tyres. You definitely want an all-terrain or a mud terrain tyre. You could feel them squirming around on the ground.
Bog Hole conquered, lovely views off to the side. Continued on, the track was now in really good nick.
But further on from Fisher Creek Road, as we came through, the canopy started to dissipate. There was been a fair bit of logging through there, and the views and the scenery you could see from there was just fantastic.
With the short notice we had from this trip, I was very excited yesterday to find out that we'd be out in the bush today. It certainly wasn't what I was thinking my Wednesday was going to look like, but I was very happy to be out and about.
Due to the rain we've had and the winter we've had here in Melbourne, everything was lush and green. 13 years ago there was some quite big bushfires through this area, and it was pretty decimated. That growth has come back in huge abundance, and the bushland out here is as green as can be.
We were still on Acheron Way. We crossed a little bridge and came to a point where we stopped to have some lunch.
Right by the Acheron River, there's a nice little campsite. Bit of mud in there this time around. Still dry areas where you could set up, and we did. We had a great little lunch stop there. Could catch up with the boys.
All right, guys, come and get your lunch.
We got well stocked from the Beechworth Bakery, so we had lots of rolls and sandwiches to get through.
It's important when you're travelling to always support local communities. So this morning, when we dropped in for breakfast at the Beechworth Bakery, we also grabbed ourselves some lunch.
Had a beautiful lunch down by the river on the Acheron River. Had a good chat with the guys, good chance to catch up with everybody.
Pete from RoadSafe had bought his border collie, which was a great addition, so we got to throw the ball and have a bit of fun with him while we ate our lunch.
Back here.
Yeah, you love me, don't you?
From there, we left, finally hit Strickland Spur. This is where we come to do and come to tackle today.
We didn't waste too much time having our lunch because Greg from Ride Pro said we've still got some very tough tracks ahead, so he wanted to get cracking. We came across a few more logs, which we had to work out whether we were going to try and winch them out the way. In the end, we decided just to pack them and drive over them, which was very, very interesting.
We had a section of 3 or 4 trees dropped in a line all across the track. We literally built some ramps up and over. We lengthened the width of the tree so we had better ramp over on some of the lower vehicles.
There was no way we were going to get across. And quite cleverly, the guys put a ramp basically leading up to the log and then a departure ramp as well.
It didn't seem like it was going to work at the start until Simon got in the camera car, and 30 kilometres an hour without slowing down seemed to be the optimum speed to jump that log, and he showed how it was done.
How you doing?
Once he went over it, he took a bit of the top of the tree off, made it a bit easier for the rest of us to get over.
That actually flattened a lot of it out for us, and then we were able to just crawl over it quite easily. One thing that was really highlighted today with what we do, and it really hit me, was every log we went over, every rock we dropped on, you'd hear a bang or a chang or a scrape, and you really appreciate having the bar work does it. You can get out, car's all dirty, there's no marks, there's no dents, and how important it is to have that protection of all levels on your car.
Gear locker on. Nice. Next pod.
Right, we then came across a second tree not far up from there, and it was time to get some physical exercise in for the day. Get off the bum out of the car and do some more road building. We ended up rolling a log down onto the track just to make it a bit easier to get over the larger one.
The same scenario. This one was a little bit different because the tree trunk was on a far greater angle, almost 45 degrees. So building it up and then coming in on an angle, it still worked. It just building the ramps on each end. Saved cutting trees, trying to pull them out, pulling them away, winching them out of the way. We just drove over the top.
Yeah, lesson for the day is make sure you bring the chainsaw.
Copy, Simon. Go ahead. We got another log. 1 hour away.
This last one was actually low enough and small enough for us to just drive over the top.
It was nice and easy. Just take it slow and ease over it.
There's been a lot of trees come down, and I imagine it's probably because of so much water, the ground becomes unstable, and these older trees do actually fall down.
So Greg, the three most important things, or the three first things you put on the four-wheel drive are a bull bar, tyres and suspension, but it really revolves all around that suspension. So why is it so important?
Look, suspension just completely changes the vehicle. Cars brand new are built for a price and built to suit everybody. When we modify our cars, the cars get heavier, we carry a lot more gear, we tend to do a lot more touring, suspension caters to that. So you build suspension with a heavy duty spring to suit the bar. How much gear you carry in the back of the car, also give you more ground clearance, get those sills up away from the rocks and the damaging area, a bit more approach departure angle, looks after the car, makes the car handle better in the bush, but also not get damaged. That's a pretty major thing.
Pete, starting to get some nice views out to the left there. We're getting some height.
The whole thing looks magnificent.
How's it look from back down there at the bottom, Mick? Looks good?
Yeah, it looks good. No problems at all coming up here. Lots of traction in this rock. But yeah, it would have been a different story a few weeks ago when it was pelting down.
From there, the tracks just really got steep and very, very rocky. We had some really exciting sections there. There was one climb we went up and round to the left and it had quite a good step in it.
It's always been known to being a pretty rocky track. Now with the dozers coming and doing their work on this track, they've actually pushed a lot of dirt on the track to cover it. Now when it's a bit wet up here, there's a bit of mud to contend with. It used to be fairly rocky and a lot of traction. There is still rock, there is still traction, but there's a layer of mud on top. We actually reached one point which was an absolute crack of a little climb. Turn the corner and there's a nice little rock face. Cut the big hole people had trouble digging up.
GoPros on, please. GoPros on.
Yep, GoPro's on, Simon. Take it slow and had the rear diff lock in and pushed up the hill.
Everyone got through all right, no one had to winch. All in all, it made it for entertaining and fun four-wheel driving.
As we finished our last major climb, we really got to the top where it was nice and open and you just got to see all the different types of scenery.
There was a GoPro that had been set up in the middle of the track and Pete just clipped it as he went over it, which meant I had to go off the track slightly, otherwise I was going to crunch the crew's GoPro. At the top of that hill, we came out to a bit of a clearing and you could see for miles.
Once you're up this climb, you hit near the pinnacle of the mountain, it opens right up and you can see there's still a lot of dead trees around from the fires we had a few years back. But again, some of the advantage of that is you can see through the canopy. So we were open to lots of views across the top, beautiful green grass growing over the tracks and the rocks. It was actually very picturesque. Really good spot to finish our trip.
Great to get out of the office today and get out with the guys from 4 Wheel Drive TV and Life Off-Road, put the car through its paces and use it for what it's built for.
So I've had a good look around the car and the car's got no marks on it, which we're absolutely stoked about. River will earn his day off school. He's going to have quite the wash job because it's definitely very muddy.
Once again, been a fabulous trip to come out with the boys from 4 Wheel Drive TV. Enjoyed every minute of it, and today was especially good because of this just perfect weather. Really looking forward to doing this again. On today's trip I had a special guest and co-driver. This is Cleo. She's not looking and she's not behaving for the camera. She's a 6-month-old Australian Shepherd cross-border collie and she's had a great day. It's a tough day at the office, but someone's got to do it.